In this lesson, we're going to be creating a new document completely from scratch. This document is going to have multiple pages, as well as take advantage of using parent pages to help the layout go a lot quicker and a lot faster. To get started, you can have a look at the end product from the book's lesson pages. But once you're finished, let's go ahead and close it out, and we won't save it. And let's jump in from InDesign's main screen. From here, let's click on the New File button. And you can see whenever you start a new document, InDesign comes loaded with some preset sizes. These preset sizes can be found at the top of the New Document dialog box. And when you click on something like Print, these are some common sizes that are used in printing. And if you click on All Presets, this will load up more. If you choose Web, these are some common web or interactive designs, as well as common ones for mobile. With this one, let's click on the Mobile Settings, and you can view some of the settings for this particular size. From here, we'll say Create, and you can see how it automatically creates the document automatically set up for that particular size. Now in this one, what we want to do is we want to create our own custom preset for the newsletter we're about to create. So I'm going to close out this document. You don't have to save it if it tells you to save. To make a custom preset, first let's go and set our units and increments. In InDesign, let's go to our InDesign preferences. If you're on a Mac, you can go to InDesign, down to Preferences. If you're on a Windows computer, you can go to Edit and down to the very bottom and choose Preferences. Since I'm on a Mac, I'm going to go to InDesign, Preferences, and let's open our units and increments. From here, make sure to set your horizontal and vertical ruler units to inches for both. Then we'll say OK. To make our own preset, let's go back up to File, down to Document Presets, and choose Define. From this dialog box, we can create our own custom saved document presets. Let's choose New. We'll give it the document name of Newsletter. The intent of this is to be a printed document. We want to automatically give it 8 pages. So we'll type in 8 and make sure Facing Pages is checked on. The size of our document can be a letter size. This will automatically make it 8.5 by 11, and it'll have a vertical or a portrait orientation. Now, as far as the number of columns that are inside of here, let's set this up to be 3 columns with a gutter of 0.125 inches. The margins are going to be different on each side too. To make them different, make sure the link is unlinked so that the top can be 1.3125, the bottom can be 0.375, the inside can be 0.5, and the outside can be 0.25. Finally, at the very bottom, we do want all of these to be exactly the same, so make sure the link is turned on for this one. And the book will have you type in the measurement in picas, which is 0 P9. 0 picas, 9 points, is the equivalency of 1/8 of an inch. Since we're measuring in inches, watch what happens when I hit the Tab key. Automatically, it converts it to inches, and it puts 1/8 of an inch in all of the other fields too, because they're all linked up. From here, we'll say OK. This will save our newsletter preset, so we can say OK to this. And now we can start using our newsletter preset. So to create our document, once again, let's go to New File. This time, we'll go to the Saved tab at the top, and here's our newsletter preset. Automatically, you can see all the details are typed in here, pre-made for us. We'll hit Create, and this will give us our new document. Notice in this document, we've got our entire page set up into 3 columns. If you open your Pages panel, if you don't see it, you may need to click on the Pages dialog box to open it up. This will show you all of the other pages that are set up there as well too. By the way, I am working in the advanced layout, so if necessary, go up to Window, down to Workspace, and make sure Advanced is turned on so that you can see all the panels that I'm seeing on my design and my layout. Another thing to note about this layout, if I scroll down and view the other pages, The first page is a single page by itself, but all of these other pages are side by side. This is the facing pages option that we turned on. As in laying out a book, when you open it up, both of the pages, both the left and the right, will be facing each other. And then the very last page, of course, will be by itself, as if you close the book up. You'll also notice that all of the pages have the same layout. There's the same 3 columns, and then you've got your margins, and then 3 columns on the other side. The reason why all the pages look exactly the same is because they all have the same parent page. To view your parent pages, notice at the very top of the Pages panel, you've got an A parent. Also notice that each page has a little A next to it. This means whatever we do inside of this parent page is automatically duplicated and repeated on all of the other pages. Using parent pages makes it a lot easier to quickly and easily copy some of the same design layout presets that we have on one page to all the others. The first thing we want to do is to copy some extra guidelines to make the layout of all of our design elements go a little bit faster. To do this, we're going to take advantage of editing a parent page. So with the Pages panel open, if you double click on the name Parent Page, this is going to select the parent page and go away from our main editing page. Now, whatever changes that we do to this spread are automatically going to start showing up on all of the other A parent pages. The first thing we want to do here is to create a variety of different guides. InDesign lets you create guides in a couple of different ways. First, if you go to the Layout drop-down menu, choose Create Guides, and this will allow you to type in a series of guides that are automatically created. We're going to give it 4 rows that has a gutter of 0.125, and the number of columns we'll set to 2 with a gutter of 0. If you have Preview turned on, you can see these guides automatically be created in this bright blue. Also, make sure your guides are set to the pages and not to the margins. If you ever need to repeat this and remove your guides, you can also tell it to clear the existing guides and it will give you some fresh guides on top of it. With this done, we'll say OK. Notice that these were created on the parent page. Now, if I was to double click, say on page 2, these are also being repeated on all of our other main pages as well. So you can see how automatically creating something on a parent page or the master page copies itself to all the child pages. Let's double click back on the parent page to go back and keep editing on this main page. Another way you can create guides is by dragging them from your ruler. By the way, if you don't see your ruler, you can go to View, down to Show Rulers. Make sure Show Rulers is what you can see so you can see it. If you see Hide Rulers, then your ruler is already being shown. I'm going to close out my Pages panel. I'm going to click directly on the ruler itself and drag downward. And you can see as I do, the cursor is going to give me a little Y coordinate in this case to show me exactly where everything is at. Now if I hold down my Command key while I do this, you can see that the guide is going to go off of my page, and we want to be able to do this. I'm going to drag it to roughly 3.75. That's close enough there. Now, if you want to be able to dial in exactly where you want to put this guide, go up to your Control panel, or you can open up your Transform panel, and with the guide still selected, this is where you can type in the exact amount, 3.75, and it'll place it right exactly there. Let's do another one at the very bottom. I'm going to zoom in by getting my zoom tool and clicking a couple of times down here. Then I'm going to use my selection tool, the black arrow, to click on my ruler and drag downward to 10 point, make sure I tell you correctly, 10.75. Again, if it's off by a little bit, or if you make a mistake, I can undo. Let's hold down Command this time when I click and drag. And then you can type in 10.75 up here at the top. You can also do the same thing for your vertical guides. Let's click and drag. Let's click on our vertical ruler and drag it over to the 1/2 inch mark. Again, if you need to dial it in, you can go up here to the X location and do it. And I hit it and good for this one. Another way you can place guides, let's do it over here on the very far right-hand corner, is to click and drag. I'm just going to place a vertical guide right here. I still have it selected. Then I want this to be 1/2 inch from this edge. Since this edge ends at 17 inches, I'm going to type in 17 minus 0.5. When I hit tab, you can see how it automatically sets this to be 16.5, and then it'll place my guide exactly where I want it to be. I can go up to view and let's display the entire spread, fit spread to window. If we haven't saved, now's a good time to save our document. We'll go up to File and Save. Since I didn't give it a name before, we can give it a name of our newsletter. And make sure you know exactly where your document is being saved to. We're going to save it as an InDesign document. Now these guides we've created are just like any other object that we have in InDesign. You can use your selection tool to select them to be able to modify them. As a matter of fact, let's go to our Pages panel and let's double click just on page 6. This will give us just a random page to work on. Another way you can create guides is by going up to Layout and choose Ruler Guides. Ruler Guides gives you the ability to change the color of the guides that we're working on. Sometimes you want to have them in different colors so that you know you can align it to different things. In our case, let's create some red guides. We'll say OK. Now when I click on, say, a vertical ruler and drag it from the edge and I deselect it, you can see that the guide is now red and it stands out from all of the other guides that we have too. Just like any other object, if I click on the guide or if I click and drag on the guide, I've got it selected. I can go up to Edit and choose Copy. And then if necessary, I can jump to any other page. Let's go to our Pages panel and go to the very last page, page 8. Then from here, I can go to Edit and tell it to paste in place, and it'll paste that guide directly in the same spot. Additionally, if I wanted to copy and paste this guide over and over again, just like I did with our little grid layout, I can select the guide, so click on it to make sure it's selected, go to Edit and Step and Repeat. The Step and Repeat function allows you to quickly copy and paste whatever you have selected a certain number of times. In our case, we're going to change our count to 3. And we're going to repeat it over and over again, a horizontal, let's change our horizontal offset first to 0.75. There we go. Now we can increase our count, and you can see how it automatically makes copies of those over and over again, if you've got preview turned on. We'll say OK to this, and now I've got 4 extra guides. Now this is becoming kind of cluttered, so I'm going to click and drag over all 4 of my guides, and go up to Edit and Clear. And that'll just delete those away.